I'm Bequipped, and this is a guide to Fiddlesticks effigies. Effigies are untargetable for about 1 second when they are spawned. They cannot be affected by outside sources like abilities and blast cones. Before level 6, you can tell when an effigy becomes targetable through the sound of your creaking lantern. When the creaking noise stops, the effigy is targetable. After level 6, there is a visual way to tell this. When the sweeping lens effect completes one 360-degree circle starting at the bottom and ending at the bottom, then the effigy is targetable. Some skins, like Praetorian, make this easier to see. If you try and hit the effigy even slightly before a 360-degree sweep, it won't count. Enemies can much more easily see the exact moment an effigy becomes targetable, as shown here. Targetable effigies can block abilities and act like a regular champion in most cases. This can be useful to avoid an ability when you come out of Zhonya's by placing an effigy right before you cast it. You can also use it to block CC while channeling your ultimate in someone's face, provided they have a slower reaction time or you're at range. You can cast your effigies during the cast times and channel times of every single one of your abilities, just like a regular trinket. This doesn't cancel your recall, and it doesn't cancel your Scarecrow out of combat passive. Zhonya's would be the main exception to this, of course, as you cannot cast anything during stasis. Effigies are not particularly useful when cast in close quarters combat, as they take a second to become an active hitbox, and even if they become targetable in time, they can move in unpredictable ways. However, you can use blast cones to launch targetable effigies at enemies and mix in with them, cloaking yourself in active hitboxes and creating confusion, possibly blocking skill shots. There are a few things to keep in mind to make this convincing though. First is that your character model has about a 70% chance to face directly towards a blast cone while flying, and a 30% chance to face directly away from it. However, effigies always face in the direction that you place them and will not flip. Knowing this, always place effigies in a way that faces towards or away from the blast cone center to make it more convincing. You don't want to fly over separately like this. Effigy health bars don't get revealed while flying, but yours does, unfortunately. This still applies even if an ally hits the blast cone for you. If an enemy hits the blast cone, your effigies will be destroyed and your health bar will still show. Even if you land the effigies on top of an enemy, making them activate, they don't act until they hit the ground, and their health bars are hidden, while yours is not. They are still targetable by abilities during flight, even if their health bars are invisible. The best way to confuse enemies is to stack effigies on top of yourself. This way, it is very hard to tell which character model is the real Fiddlesticks, since the health bar is on top of all of them during your flight. So in practice, stack effigies on top of yourself, facing towards and away from the blast cone. Your health bar shows in flight, but they don't know which one is you, and then the effigies activate and display their own health bars when they land on top of an enemy, adding to the confusion. Enemies might not know about the intricacies of health bar display though, so you can send effigies over the wall and then follow up with an ultimate after key abilities are used on the effigy, if you think you can confuse your enemy this way. I can see this strategy being most effective when stealing objectives, as the added confusion will make it harder for enemies to decide quickly which is the real Fiddlesticks. You can also use the active hitboxes to block abilities when you go in for that smite steal. You can go in with your effigies at the same time, or you can stagger them out however you'd like. Mix it up to confuse opponents. You can also use blast cones to get long distance vision. There are some precise spots to click to make sure effigies end up where you want, like in bushes. Here are some examples. There are some inconsistencies between each side of the map. It is possible to blast cone into this corner of the bush here, but not over here. Same deal here, you can fly really far out over here, but not over here. And over here, you can land right in this blue buff bush if you get the right angle. But not over here. If you or an effigy is too close to the center of a blast cone, you'll fly straight up. I'm unsure if this is a bug, but usually you'll fly an even distance no matter where you are in the circle. Effigies follow the same flight path as you, so you can use the indicator to aim effigies if you need. When doing Dragon, the initial knockback will push your effigies outwards, but it won't kill them. However, the area of effect attacks of Mountain Drake, Infernal Drake, and Elder Drake can splash off you or a teammate and kill your effigies. Drakes cannot target effigies directly though, so the single target attacks of Ocean Drake and Cloud Drake cannot kill your effigies. Rift Herald can kill your effigies with its charge. Try to place your effigy either out of the way of its charge or place it late so that it is untargetable during the charge. Herald also can't target your effigies with basic attacks just like Dragon, but it can kill it with its area of effect swipe attack, so make sure to kite Herald away from your effigies. Baron is the only objective that will actively attack your effigies as if they are champions, even from a very long range over the wall, as you'll see here. I recommend buying a control ward if you want lasting vision on Baron as Fiddlesticks. I hope they actually change this though, as it's very inconvenient when trying to gain vision. Turrets will ignore your effigies completely, as will minions. When you're level 6, enemies can see the sweeping lens above your effigy when you cast it, but only if it's in vision. However, the sweeping lens is a separate entity from your effigy and can be separated with damageless knockback such as Dragon flapping its wings or a blast cone. Killing the effigy or activating it also does not end the sweeping lens effect. Effigies activate when in a certain proximity, but only if it has vision of you, and you have vision of it simultaneously. If you gain vision from out of the activation range of an effigy, enemies can't tell the difference between the real and the fake Fiddlesticks, so just stand still to fool enemies. There are several actions that effigies can take when activated: walking directly away from the enemy, using a fake Q then walking directly away, although Fiddlesticks won't turn to face his opponent, which I think is a bug, casting a fake ultimate even if you aren't level 6, which I hope they change, flashing away from the enemy then walking further away, flashing away from the enemy then standing still, walking directly at the enemy, and finally standing completely still. I listed these in order of occurrence from what seems to be the most common to the most rare. The range of activation, provided all vision requirements are met from both sides, is shown by the ranged arrow indicator when placing the effigy. This is also the exact same range as the sweeping lens. Make sure to place effigies in a believable facing direction. Effigies will take on the visual effects of any buffs you might have, but this is only visual. Banshee's Veil will not block abilities for your effigy, although this would be kinda cool if it did. This includes things like red buff, blue buff, and arcane comet. Hovering over the buff timers on yourself versus your effigy seems to not be correct though, and I hope they fix this bug and make them match. If your visual effect updates, such as using your comet, and then you place a new effigy, the new effigy will not have a comet circling it. When the comet comes back, new effigies you place will have the comet effect again. Even if a buff would expire on an effigy, the visual effect will remain until the effigy dies. Think of effigies like a freeze frame of Fiddlesticks at that moment. They'll have his same level, same visual effects, same HP, and same mana. There is a very big bug that makes telling which effigy is real and fake very easy. If you click on an effigy and hover over their smite icon, the effigy's smite will say that it deals 0 damage. Please fix this, Riot. Additionally, effigies do not regen HP or mana, while the real Fiddlesticks does. I hope Riot will address this also. Short duration effects applied to the real Fiddlesticks seem to fall off quickly on effigies, such as the Scuttlecrab's Speed Shrine. Here are some examples of Infernal Rift Blast Cone effigy locations.